You know that rhyme, sing a song of sixpence, popped in my head the other day, and it, of course, made my brain go down a rabbit hole. And when I say rabbit hole, I mean like symbolic rabbit hole, because a rhyme about blackbirds in a pie does not sound like it belongs anywhere near ritual or older traditions even. But the structure and the symbols in Sing a Song of Sixpence comes from the same world that those traditions were built in. If you don't remember it, it's sing a song of sixpence, pocket full of rye, 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. The rhyme itself shows up in print around the 18th century in England, but elements inside it are much older than that. So let's break it down. Let's start with the birds. In ancient and early European traditions, birds were not just animals. They were used for interpretation. In Greek and Roman practice, augury was the reading of birds to understand outcomes or messages. The number, the direction, and the behavior of the birds mattered, which is often why you see me looking up at all the birds I see. So when we take that and we hear the line 4 and 20 blackbirds, that number isn't meaningless. Numbers were often used symbolically in older traditions. 12, 24, these show up in timekeeping cycles and structured systems. 24 ties directly to the full division of a day. So now we have a set number of birds that are contained in something. And then we have the pie. Now, there are historical records of live pies, as they called them, in medieval Europe. These were birds that were placed inside a pastry so that when it was opened, they would all fly out. Now, this part was documented as an entertainment at feasts that were held. But if we take a step back and we look at the structure, it mirrors something much older, which is containment and release. And in ancient ritual practices, both in Mediterranean and European folk traditions, there are repeated themes of enclosing something, whether it's symbolic or physical, and then releasing it at a specific moment. Not always as a spell in the modern sense, but as a structured act that was tied to both timing and outcome. And then we have the pocket full of rye. Now, rye is a grain, and grains have always mattered to people. In ancient societies, grains were not just food. It was survival, it was wealth, and it was continuity. It shows up in offerings, in seasonal rites, in burial contexts, and in protection practices across different regions. Carrying grain itself could be practical, but it also carried symbolic weight tied to life and provision at the time. Then we have the structure of the rhyme itself. Then we have short lines, there's repetition, there's rhythm. And that is the same tradition that we see in older oral traditions like chants and invocations and memorized sayings. And this was done because it made it easier for things to be remembered and passed down accurately. That same structure is what later gets recognized in both ritual language and storytelling. And then we have the ending. Along came a blackbird and pecked off her nose. This is abrupt. It shifts the tone completely. That kind of sharp ending is very common in older folklore, if you think about the Grimm's fairy tales. It reflects consequence. It brings things back to the physical world very quickly, and you see it in a lot of early fairy tales and sayings. They were not softened. I'm not saying this is a witchcraft spell or a coded ritual of any kind. There's no historical evidence to support that. But it does not mean it is disconnected from those traditions either. What it actually shows is that it comes from the same foundation. A world where birds carried meaning, where grain represented survival, where numbers and structure mattered, and where language was built to be repeated and remembered. So no, it's not a spell, but it is a reflection of time when everyday life and symbolism and what we now separate as ritual were all part of the same system of understanding. And I think that is super important.